have to walk the talk. You have to understand what the connections are. You're a company which has wide-ranging interests, from banking through to high-tech through to higher education. The key role of the hero is to understand the connections. How are these things connected to take us further and forward? And he must make sure, the hero, the leader, that people meet expectations. Execute, execute, do it. Don't talk about it, do it. Think, but act. Think, but act. And a leader who needs to learn to think in a special way. Needs to think long and act short. Think long and act short. He has to say, that's what the 5-year plan is going to say. That's what's going to happen after the banking crisis. And now you, and you, and you have to get yourselves geared to that. He defines the expectations on everybody. And he has to make sure that everyone in the company keeps learning how to move from zero to hero. That's the challenge. It's not easy. It's not easy. This is a cartoon here. This is a cartoon which I use. There is the chairman here. And he's talking to his board, and the company has a crisis. And he says, I will begin today's proceedings by saying that we have enough food and water to last us into some sort of eventual turnaround. We're not going to do anything about it, we're going to hide. People who want to be moved from zero to hero never hide. We cannot hide. We cannot say, we are in our offices, there are problems out there, the market's collapsing, customers are dissatisfied, but it's all right, we have enough food and enough water so we can ignore it. Heroes don't. They get out and they get about. They learn to communicate. They understand the message and the medium. It's not what you say, it's the way that you say it. They make sure that first impressions count right through the company. Who creates the first impression coming in the door of this building? It's not the chairman. It's not the head of the bank. It's the man at the front of the desk. It's the man or woman who welcomes people. Do they welcome them well? Do they make everybody who comes in the company feel important? That this is the company that I matter to? Do they establish credibility? If people believe in you, then they will follow you. If they don't believe in you, they will never follow you. In today's marketplace and today's workplace, very seldom can you tell people exactly what to do. You must negotiate with them. There are many ways of achieving your results. It's important to be consistent, to use time to your advantage. And one of the most important things that the person who wants to move from zero to hero must understand is that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Why not use the 2 ears more than the 1 mouth? And when you're dealing with people, remember, they've got 2 arms and 2 legs and 100 billion brain cells. 100 billion brain cells. Use those brain cells. And in many companies, there are people who believe they're too insignificant to make a difference. I don't matter. It's the chairman's job to solve this problem. I don't matter. It's my line manager's job to solve that problem. A very good friend of mine was a woman entrepreneur who died recently, a woman called Anita Roddick. And she founded The Body Shop. You may know The Body Shop? And she founded The Body Shop. And she said, you know when people think they are too insignificant to make a difference, remember if you've ever been in a tent with a mosquito, and that mosquito makes a difference, doesn't it? You can't ignore a mosquito in your hotel room. You can't ignore a mosquito in the house. And isn't that little? Isn't that tiny? If you want to move from zero to hero, you have to believe not only can you move from zero to hero, but you can make a difference by doing that. And that means that you must remember the only way out of some troubles is never to get into them. means, when we were talking before, think about the future. Make sure you understand. And make sure that your priority is, I don't want to be Superman. Many managers that I know, mainly male managers, mainly men, they love to be Superman, don't they? They love a problem. They can fly in like Superman and they can solve the problems. But wouldn't it have been better if they avoided the problem? There may not be a telephone box for you to go into, to change into Superman. There may not be a telephone box nearby, so how can you become Superman if there isn't a telephone box? What you have to do is say the only way out of some troubles is not to get into them. If you look at that banking crisis in the USA, the truth is that most of those troubles of those banks were avoidable. Bear Stearns could have avoided its problems if it hadn't been stupid and taken on borrowings. Lent money to people who you knew could never pay. But you've got somebody with an income of $5,000 a year. They can't pay interest of $10,000 a year. And they knew that. So the only way out is... And if you want to move from zero to hero, remember that. And remember that there are always vultures. There are always people waiting outside to get you. Aren't there? On every desk, every one of you has a vulture on your desk. It might be the competition. It might be a supplier. You've got to watch those vultures. Because don't forget, we all laugh at vultures, don't we? We all think they're ugly. But how many of us could live in the desert? Not for a day, not for a week, but forever. Vultures are clever. If you want to move from hero to zero, occasionally you have to learn from the vulture, but make sure that those vultures don't pick the flesh off your body, because that's what they're best at. Besides vultures, there are often inside the company vampires. In every company there are vampires. You know vampires? They drink blood. In every company there are vampires. There are the people who spend all their time causing other people problems. We talk about emotional vampires. I used to employ one. Sometimes I'm so stupid. I sometimes think I'm a zero. And I had this woman who worked for me for a very long time, and she'd come into work and there was always something wrong. She'd come in and the first thing she'd sit down and she'd cry because something had happened that night. The washing machine hadn't worked, or her boyfriend hadn't phoned up, and she'd sit there and she'd try and try and try. And then my PA would go over and say, "Why are you crying?" And then the manager would go over and say, "Why are you crying?" And she'd say, "The washing machine didn't work," or "My boyfriend didn't phone." And by lunchtime I was saying, "Why are you crying?" We all have them though, don't we? We all have them around us. They're vampires. They drink the blood of the organisation. And you've got to make sure that if you want to move from zero to hero, you must get out a great big wooden stick. You know how to kill vampires, don't you? When they're lying down and they don't know, you come up and go with a great big wooden stick. That's what you have to do sometimes if you want to avoid moving from hero to zero. And if you want to be somebody who moves from zero to hero, have the odd wooden stake just in the back of the office, just hidden away so the vampire doesn't know where it is. Get that vampire, because we all have them.